welcome back to another week of a weekly gaming news 10 in 10. I have 10 headlines for the week ended September 23rd, 2017, and I'll go through them in 10 minutes or less. Let's get started. Epic Games accidentally activates cross-platform play in Fortnite. This past weekend, PlayStation players started to notice players with spaces in their usernames. If you're unfamiliar, PlayStation Network does not allow spaces in usernames, but Xbox Live does. Reddit users started investigating and through collaborating screenshots were able to determine that indeed they were playing cross-platform, PlayStation 4 players and Xbox One players. Epic Games later confirmed that indeed they had inadvertently activated cross-platform play as a result of a configuration error. The technical difficulties and security concerns may be a bit overblown as there were no major incidents reported as a result of this mishap. Epic Games has shut cross-platform play down for the time being, and while Sony has been quiet, Xbox head Phil Spencer tweeted that he would have liked to see Epic Games leave this feature turned on. Accidents happen, and accidents can happen on purpose. I have a strange feeling that this may be the latter of the two. What do you think? More Fortnite news as Epic Games announced a Battle Royale mode, one that's very similar to Bluehole's own Players Unknown Battleground, so much so that they have mentioned the hit game in promotional material. As you can imagine, the people at Bluehole are none too pleased, accusing Epic Games of blatantly copying their idea. Also mentioned that they worked with Epic Games in the development of PUBG, which runs on Epic's Unreal Engine, and that they are looking into taking further action. Legally, I do not think Bluehole has much recourse, while PUBG and H1Z1 before that are genre defining. No one entity can lay copyright claims to an entire genre. Last week we reported of a ROM mod that allowed multiplayer in Mario 64. This week, as predicted, Super Mario 64 Online has been taken down after receiving copyright strikes from Nintendo. Hopefully those who wanted to get a chance to experience the multiplayer madness. This is par for the course and wholly unsurprising from Nintendo, who is known to fiercely protect their IP, especially the former plumber. Last week we talked about new franchises being added to Blizzard's Overwatch League. We now know that the Overwatch League is set to start its first season on January 10th, 2018, with 12 franchises in place. The preseason is expected to start December 6th, with the regular season starting January 10th. The season will run through June, with the playoffs and championship taking place in July. Look for league and team details to be released running up to the start of preseason to include team names, logos, colors, and the season schedule. Let us know in the comments if you'll be watching. Continuing with Overwatch, it has been announced that beginning September 27th, Blizzard will start perma-banning players. They laid out the criteria as getting 3 bans in a season competitive play. These 3 bans are permanent, and accumulating them over a course of several seasons can still lead to a permanent ban. This is a true 3 strikes and you're out policy. Additionally, they have announced that Xbox Live players with an Avoid Me rating will not be allowed to use Team Chat. With the first season of Overwatch set to begin, Blizzard is working overtime to clean up the community. Battleborn, Gearbox's first-person MOBA, is getting its last content update this fall. Creative director Randy Varnell is moving on to another project and announced via Gearbox's forums that the upcoming fall update will be the last content for the game. He went on to say that the servers will stay live for the foreseeable future. Battleborn has struggled to maintain a strong player base, even after converting to a free-to-play model. The writing may be on the wall for Battleborn, which may have been doomed by the decision of releasing in close proximity to Blizzard's Overwatch. Microsoft is releasing a new update to the offering Xbox Insiders that will allow third-party camera support for game streaming. This will only work with mixers so far, but will allow for greater flexibility when streaming games directly from your Xbox One. Now they just need to patch in native chroma key support, and console streaming can become much more tenable. Remember the Duke, the absurdly large original Xbox controller? If you are nostalgic for weightlifting whilst gaming and thumb cramps from stretching to reach the black and white buttons, you are in luck. Seamus Blackley, one of the designers of the original Xbox, has partnered with Hyperkin, who specializes in retro gaming gear, to bring the Duke back to life for Xbox One and Windows 10 machines. Recently receiving final certification from Microsoft, the final prototype is off to have the plastic molds created. There's no word on price or availability, but the final design is said to include a 9-foot breakaway cord and a display screen. With the early retail success of the Nintendo Switch, it is no surprise that developers have begun to flock to the system. Doom and Wolfenstein 2 were announced last week, and now Square Enix has indicated that hit game Final Fantasy XV may be getting a Switch port. Final Fantasy 15 director Hajime Tabata, interviewing with Eurogamer, stated that his team was running technical investigations to see what is possible. Tabata went on to say that they currently cannot announce anything and they haven't come to a decision on the best way to proceed. To say this is early is an understatement, but it shows a willingness to bring AAA titles to the platform. HTC just this past week sold a portion of its handset engineering design division to Google for a cool $1.1 billion. Now HTC seems to be turning its attention to its VR business. They have announced that starting in October and continuing through December, developers who put their games on the HTC Vive would be able to keep 100% of the sales proceeds. As it stands now, HTC has been taking a 30% cut of sales. This is definitely a push to get more developers putting their titles on the HTC Vive platform. While a critical darling, widespread adoption has been slow. It seems as HTC is betting more titles will create more demand for their system. That will conclude this week's show. But before I go, I would like to give a word to our sponsor, the New Challengers. If you're looking to improve in Street Fighter V, Injustice 2, Tekken 7, and now Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, the New Challengers are for you. They offer one-on-one coaching, fight nights, tournaments, tutorials, and more. You'll be racking up those KOs in no time. Head over to newchallengers.gg and get good. If you'd like to hear more detailed discussion of these stories and more, join Trinell and Todd for a weekly gaming news show. Stream live Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, Mixer, Twitch, and YouTube.